Welcome back to another episode of R&R. I'm Ronnie.
I'm Rena.
Just make sure y'all know that.
And we are finally recording because we had to wait 2 hours because it was pouring down rain and it was really loud.
Yes. The studio is great, unless it's raining really hard. So, kills sound.
Yeah. So, a nice rainy morning.
Nice rainy morning.
Now we're going to get going.
But a great day now to start filming this episode. And as you recall, you finally won one of our closeout games last episode. Yes. Congratulations.
Yeah. Just don't patronize me.
Well, I'm going
to win more, okay? I'm going to win more.
I don't doubt that.
I do a little bit.
Law of averages says it had to happen sooner or later. So. But anyway, so she won, and she graciously decided to keep this episode rather than pass it along to me, which makes my job a lot easier. Because I get to sit here and listen to her discuss a topic of her choice, which I'm wondering if this has anything to do with today's topic or not, or if our producer just has some stuff he wanted to get out of his pantry.
No, this is a really low budget show, and we just had to figure something out. Okay?
Did you say it's a really low budget or a no budget show? Pretty sure it's a no budget show, but that's okay.
We had a budget for a tomato.
Yeah.
I guess. Anyway, so what I have brought today is near and dear to my heart. I'm going to be telling you the story of the making of the B movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yes. I was hoping that's what this meant, so I can't wait.
So if you're not familiar with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, it is a very low budget film made in 1978, really over the course of 4 years in the 70s, but general 70s. And for the plot, tomatoes rebel against mankind and unleash a series of attacks on unsuspecting humans. The president puts together a task force led by Mason Dixon to stop the tomato uprising. They don't gain any ground in the war until they accidentally discover that the tomatoes can only be defeated when they hear the song Puberty Love.
Okay. Very, very good plot so far.
So it is a horror comedy.
Yeah.
And it is, they intended to kind of be spoofing like B monster movies. So it is really kind of the B movie of a B movie. So it's somewhere around an F movie. I actually I love the story behind the scenes, but I hadn't watched it until yesterday prepping for this episode.
Well,
because I didn't feel right talking about it if I hadn't actually seen the entire thing.
Yes. And I feel like I've probably seen at least parts of it, if not the whole thing. But if that's true, it's been so long.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again. Had I known that was what today's topic would have been, I would have watched it probably leading up to this. I will now have to tonight.
Yeah. So. Yes, it is as of this moment on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
For free, if you have a Prime account.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Screenwriter Costa Dillon originally developed the concept of killer tomatoes for a short film in college. But he and his friends, John DeBello and Stephen Peace, felt like cinema was missing out on a feature-length version of an apocalyptic tomato movie. So they got together, and for under $100,000, they brought us Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh. It was filmed entirely in San Diego. It was a very scrappy, low-budget, use what you have, get your friends in the movie, guerrilla style filmmaking. They've got a scene in a public fountain that they didn't even get a permit for. We've been there. We've done stuff like that. I can relate.
It sounds familiar, yeah. So this was the late 70s and things have not changed yet. So us indie filmmakers are still doing the same stuff.
Still doing weird illegal things. Not illegal. We would never. Allegedly.
No. Allegedly. Yes.
We would never break the law. So several relatives of the filmmakers were actually the financial backers for the movie, and therefore they got cameos. Yeah. It's actually a pretty large cast with a lot of different locations. There's a lot happening in this movie. The script is a little bit hard to follow because it's all over the place, but there are some really, really cute, funny bits in it. There's a scene where they're having a really important official government meeting, and I don't think they're in a government building, so they just find a closet and like they have a table that kind of fills up the whole closet. So they're all like, all these important officials are getting on the table and like crawling over it to get to the seats. And I watched it and I was like, I've done depositions like that in tiny little broom closet rooms. It was great. That scene's been spoofed a lot in like other films. So it's like, it's made an impact.
Yeah.
Also watching it, I don't think I realized it was a musical. And then I got 30 minutes in and suddenly someone was singing to me. It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was great. I was startled. So obviously there's a lot of creative filmmaking going on to stretch that budget so far. And this next part is the whole reason this story is the reason that this is near and dear to my heart, and the reason why I wanted to tell you this today is this part.
Can't wait.
So early on in the movie, we've got our cops and government officials in a field of like tomatoes rising out of the ground, and they're shooting at them, and it's chaos. And suddenly a helicopter comes up from behind one of the cop cars, and the tail hits the ground and it spins out and crashes. And the cop just turns around and looks at it. They've got two angles of this helicopter crash. And then they keep going. They're talking about the crash. They're talking about the pilot not making it out. They've got it in the background. It's a very like, you know, it's clearly low budget, but in the first like 5 minutes, you've got a helicopter crash.
Yeah, it doesn't sound low budget at all. Yeah.
So it was an accident. They did not mean to crash the helicopter.
Did the pilot?
The pilot survived.
Okay.
The pilot survived with minimal injuries. That's why.
Okay. Start to say this took a dark turn quick.
So
can we get a helicopter for the next episode? Yeah.
So
No, out of the budget.
What if we promise not to crash it?
I can get you a small toy helicopter.
Deal.
Okay.
We'll hold you to
Do
that.
that. Can it fly like remote control? Anyway.
I can throw it.
Throw helicopters at us. So the tail rotor blades did hit the ground and it just went over. Like it's all real.
Yeah.
And they just kept rolling and then reshot it, like or rewrote it to incorporate the fact that the helicopter just crashed.
Okay.
That ate $60,000 of their budget.
Of the $100,000.
Of the $100,000 budget.
Yeah.
So they really made this movie with $40,000 and one really cool accidental practical effect. That's my favorite fun fact.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for bar trivia to
there we
whip
go.
that one out. For the song Puberty Love, they needed a real song that they had the rights to put in the film. So the filmmakers asked their 16-year-old neighbor to write the song that has been called like a musical abomination.
Okay.
It's really hard to listen to, but I mean, it's purposefully terrible. So that neighbor was Matt Cameron, who is now the drummer for Pearl Jam.
Oh, nice. How about that?
Most of the actors in Attack of the Killer Tomatoes had never been in a movie before, and most of them would never be in a movie again.
That was it.
That was pretty much it. There were a few notable exceptions, including Jack Riley, who played Von Shayer. He went on to voice Stu Pickles in Rugrats.
There you go.
And it's obviously didn't perform very well at the box office. It did get a limited theater release. I watched a news segment from the original release where they were like interviewing people coming out and everyone was just like, I don't know what I just watched. That was weird. Someone was like, how would you describe the plot? And she was like, there was a plot if you were looking for it.
Okay. Great explanation. I'm second guessing if I want to watch this or not now.
You have to
I have to.
watch it.
I enjoy bad B movies.
So yeah, it didn't perform well, didn't really make its money back, but it was one of the earliest films to be released on VHS, which is how it kind of ended up with a cult following.
Yeah.
Which means that 10 years later, they could make Return of the Killer Tomatoes in 1988. At that time, they had a budget of $1 million. I also watched Return of the Killer Tomatoes. It's definitely worth the watch. It's definitely like still campy B movie of a B movie and silly, but like it's fun and it's a more like cohesive script. Parts of it absolutely did not age super well.
I do have a question about like, are the tomatoes CGI or what? Like, are they actors in tomato costume? Like, how are the tomatoes?
So in the first movie,
That was a long time ago. Like,
they're actually just tomatoes. It's just a tomato like this, just being like thrown at people or rolling around. They use like stop motion.
Gotcha.
They use like silly bits. There's a part that's kind of a spoof of Jaws where the tomatoes are just like floating up to this raft, and then like all these kids are screaming, and they cut to black. Like
that's so great. Yeah.
There's the opening scene is a tomato like jumps out of a sink and like attacks a woman. Like
Well, you did say they had to be
silly.
creative with the budgets. Yeah, okay. I was just curious. I was
real
wondering.
tomatoes. I do wonder how many tomatoes they went through in the making of this movie.
Is it not in the credits? How many tomatoes were harmed? 40,000 tomatoes were harmed during making this movie.
$40,000 worth of tomatoes were harmed.
Would have been more, but they didn't have the budget. So.
And then in Return of the Killer Tomatoes, it's a little bit different because you've got a mad scientist, Dr. Gangrene, who the actor who played Dr. Gangrene also played Gomez Adams.
Okay.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
He's like found a way to like build his own army by like playing certain music and using certain chemicals. He can turn a tomato into a person. So one of the main characters is indeed a tomato.
Okay.
They have a lot of like fourth wall breaks that are really fun. It's like as a filmmaker, I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of like silly moments where they just pan over and they're just like, so we're out of money now. We can't finish the movie. And then someone's like, what about product placement? And then for like 10 minutes in the movie, there's just like, it's basically an ad for a bunch of it's very silly. And then at the very end, this is probably one of my favorite bits I've ever seen. At the very end, it like starts cutting to the credits, and then it cuts to an old woman on the porch that's just like, hey, don't you go anywhere because my grandkid worked really hard on this, and you're going to sit here and you're going to watch all these credits. And I was like, yes, I love it.
That's great.
But I've held down on you a little bit on selling Return of the Killer Tomatoes because the most notable thing about it is one of George Clooney's earliest feature films.
Okay. How did I not know this already?
And what I don't understand when I was watching it, how has George Clooney always looked like a 40-year-old man?
So in 1988, he already looked like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah, he already looked like he was playing like 20, but somehow I just look at him and I'm just like, you're a 40-year-old man.
There we go.
I don't know. But I think he has since tried to distance himself from the franchise, but
probably
I did enjoy him and he was very funny.
You know, the part I picked up on all this so far is that a tomato has a lead role, and as an actor, that's probably a better role than I've had in a lot of stuff. So I've lost out to a real skeleton before. Now I'm losing out to tomatoes. What's next? I'm just going to get out of the business.
Well, a real actor did play the tomato.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
The tomato, he put the tomato in the machine, and then a beautiful woman comes out.
Okay.
So
that makes more
a real
sense.
actress.
That makes more sense. Okay. Never mind.
Except there is a little felt fuzzy tomato.
Of course.
Yeah. That one doesn't become a person. But so you lost the role to that one. Return of the Killer Tomatoes did considerably better at the box office, and it kind of launched the franchise. Return of the Killer...
Yeah. Would you like to try that again?
I would. Killer Tomatoes Strike Back was released in 1990, and then there was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes cartoon in the same year, and then Killer Tomatoes Eat France in 1991. We've got like comics, video games, novels. It's become like a cult classic that's taken off.
There's probably killer tomato conventions or something.
I'm sure there's some sort of
tomato cosplay.
It's very niche. I think you can still buy the little felt doll from the first one. I kind of want it now. It's known as FT for Fuzzy Tomato.
Fuzzy Tomato.
But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a story of some friends who got together and wanted to make a movie. What are you doing?
Hang on, you had something in your beard.
All right.
I have lots of stuff in my beard. Thanks.
He took my tomato.
I had...
He took my tomato. Put my tomato back. What are you going to do?
I plan on throwing it at somebody.
That's going to hurt. Stop. We're safety conscious set.
Producer, can you get this PA out of here?
Tomatoes are gentle beings. They get a bad rap.
I'm glad he didn't pick up the can.
Well, I was nice enough to not pick up the can.
It's not even your tomato. It's Ronnie's tomato.
Oh, this is my tomato. I get to keep it? Nice. Anyway.
This is what editing is.
Yeah, you threw me off because I was like gearing up for like my last thing. Now I've lost my momentum.
Well, I assume he did not want you to point out the fact that he took the tomato.
Yeah, he definitely didn't, but I was scared he was going to throw it, so I was like, get it back.
The plan was for it to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was scared. I was
I think
frightened.
he's saying this show's so bad that he's going to throw tomatoes at us. That's a thing, right?
Banana.
But this whole thing really started with a group of friends with a passion for filmmaking who just wanted to make something no matter how silly it was. And it ended up being incredibly successful. I mean, who'd have thought? Like, there's an audience for tomatoes murdering people. Like, that's crazy. So in closing, this is my pitch to you for us to be making a feature film.
Ah, yes.
If they can do it, we can do it.
Do it.
Technically bananas.
What is
with you and bananas?
Yeah. Huh? Do you want some bananas? We probably have some in Crafty.
My favorite fruit.
Are you
Are they really?
potassium deficient? You
No,
good?
there's none in Crafty. Your producer didn't get you any Crafty.
Damn producers. Oh, well.
Anyway, that's,
yes,
that's the story of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
All right, cool. So, question: Are the tomatoes from Earth? Are they like from outer space? Is this like a? Does it really say?
They are from Earth.
Okay.
I got a little bit confused in the first movie about like how they originated. There is a line of like kind of saying that implying that they might have been like genetically engineered.
Okay. Well, I was getting
Maybe,
a like
where they were
killer
just
clowns
trying
from
to make
outer space
a
vibe with
juicier
the.
tomato or something.
Okay.
But no, they are indeed from Earth.
You know, the stuff genetically enhanced fruits and stuff. That's a real thing now. Like,
Yes.
so
yes.
it could happen that these tomatoes do someday
It
attack.
could.
And to touch on something we've done prior, I believe The Simpsons did an episode about it before it ever became a thing. Just saying. I don't think we discussed that a few episodes ago, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about the history and the timeline of like genetic modifications.
Yeah.
Fruits
I don't
and
either, but
vegetables,
I remember in the research for The Simpsons predicting the future stuff, I saw that in there with the genetically enhanced food and stuff. I don't remember the exact season or episode or what, but I just know that The Simpsons predicted it, so it's not been around since, that movie was the first, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, personally, I think as mankind, we've had a good run, and we should hand it over the tomatoes and see what they do. Maybe they'll do a better job.
Kids, if you're listening, eat more tomatoes before they eat us, okay? Eat your fruits and vegetables. Don't give the tomatoes a chance.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It got dark. All right. Should we
Eat
wrap
or
it
be
up
eaten.
and get out of here before it starts raining again?
Yeah, I feel like we should. I think we've stretched this as much as we can.
So, today, we're going to play a game similar to Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
Where each person's going to get a turn, and you have the opportunity to either guess a letter or guess the word.
Okay.
You can't do both.
Can't do both. So, like, if I guess a letter, I don't then get to guess the word?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay. Even if I get the letter, okay.
Because theoretically, if you were to guess a letter and get it right, you just keep going, and the other person can't get it right.
No, but like if I guess a letter, I don't then get to guess a word?
That's correct. I want to either you guess a letter or a word.
Okay.
So that way I can go back and forth
Yeah.
easily, and we'll go from that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Since
Interesting.
Rena,
I just tune out when he
And we'll figure
tells
it
me
out.
the rules. I can't figure it out until we actually play it. That's why I'm so bad.
since Rena won last round, she gets to go first.
Okay. I feel like that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, usually I
Yeah.
let you go first.
Yeah.
I let you go first.
Yeah, you let me. Yeah.
So that I know how to play.
Well, I feel like I want you to pick a letter, and then because then you can't pick a word. I have a chance. I have
Yeah.
the first chance to
Yeah,
pick the
yeah.
word unless you guess the word
Or you
immediately.
can watch how I do it wrong and didn't absorb any of this information. Anyway, let's play.
So Rena,
Oh
No. Wow.
topic is celebrity. So this is honestly
George Clooney. Oh wait, no, too many letters. Sorry.
Rena is first.
E.
There's at least one E.
Oh.
No, they don't fit. All right, it's my turn.
It's your
I'm
turn,
going
right?
to go with an R. True Wheel of Fortune style. Always go with R. Oh, there's no R. Okay, well, that didn't help you at all then.
Oh.
I almost picked like X's and Z's and stuff just so I couldn't help you. I didn't know R was going to actually do that. A. Since there's no vowel in the first letter or first word yet.
Yeah, right? What is happening?
Your turn, Rena.
You. I don't think you spelt this right.
Okay, I. There has to be a.
This person has to have a vowel in their name.
Jeez. The tomatoes are here!
Oh my god! I'm calling my agent.
But yeah.
I can't work in these conditions.
Ah! Flashback!
Done, Rena.
S.
I would like to solve the puzzle.
Oh, damn it.
Clint Eastwood.
There you go.
Hey! Back in the winning ways. All right.
Wrap it up.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep you in suspense. I'm gonna like you did last time. I'm going to take the next topic, but I'm not going to tell you yet what it is. I'm gonna make you wait and see.
Okay.
I've been stewing on something for a few days now, and I think I was hoping I'd win just so I could run with this. So
Okay.
I'm going to take the topic, and you have to tune in next time to see what it is. So.
Okay, well. Tell me. Tell me. I can't handle the suspense. All right. All right, we're going to get out of here.
Ready to get out here?
Thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. Tell all your friends. Tune in next time.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, all those things.
Yeah. Till next time.
See you then.
See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
Keep going, man.